Hello, hello. All right, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. What's going on? Um, so yeah, we like I said, first of all, happy Tuesday. I hope you all had a good long weekend. We had a crazy weekend. We decided to go out to the in-laws and just do some adult stuff. My wife had her best friend had a memorial we had to go to, and then my best friend and his wife had a baby shower. So, um, like I said, did some adult stuff. Hey, I have the puppy in here for about an hour, so it might be a little bit of chaos. But hope everybody's doing well. Like I said last stream, I think it was last stream, just chatting. We're going to do this angle, right? It's going to be the kind of fun stuff. We'll be talking. Uh, yeah, so we'll be talking, all that good stuff. And then once we get down to business, I'll switch camera angles, do all that fun stuff. So, how's everybody doing? I see Bridget is in here. Welcome in, Bridget. I see you're driving Pulse Kebab. Hopefully, you won't be driving for too long. I'm going to get into some of the stuff that the documentary here in a second. Well, in about 20 minutes, actually, 15 minutes. So I'll be doing that in a little bit here. Can everybody hear me? Is everybody good? Let's put some music on. Um, let's see. Okay, it should be good now. All right. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. I see you, Bridget. Welcome in. I see you, Bob. Hopefully you won't be driving for too long, Bob, because in about 15 minutes we're gonna get into it. But yeah, so I hope everybody had a good 3-day weekend. Like I said, the wife and I had some, I guess, grown-up stuff. Her best friend had a memorial. My best friend and his wife had a baby shower. So we got to get away a little bit and do our own thing. So, but I hope everybody's doing well. We'll get started here in a little bit. Today's a little bit different. So this is technically it is a request from Pulse Kebab. For sure. This is a request from Pulse Kebab. I mean, he legitimately paid a lot of money for me to go through these. I've been wanting to go through them, so I figured Tuesday's a theme stream. Why not just do this today? We're gonna go through the Band-Maid documentaries. I think there's like 5 or 6, something like that. Anyways, on the community post, I think it was a community post for this, I pinned the comment with all the links to everything, so to make it easier for myself. Tomorrow, I don't think I'm gonna stream tomorrow, but I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know. I might take a break from streaming for 2 reasons. 1, I have to go into the office, and 2, I want to get some recordings done. So I have a lot of recordings I need to get to from Patreon members that I need to do. So, and then Thursday we'll do leftovers from the last theme stream as well as Demon Slayer, and then Friday I'll definitely do a stream with you guys. All right, so that's what's going on this week. Let me grab Puppy for a second. Hold on. This dog, I swear, he's chewing up my my blinds. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. One of the things I did get when I was over with my friend was I won my fantasy football league, for those of you who are into that. And I got we have a belt made, and I got that. So, whoa, sorry, bud. So when we switch camera angles, I'll show that to you guys, and I'll put it on and all that stuff. But yeah, so I got that. And then I think that's pretty much it for updates for the weekend, honestly. Kids had a blast. I was worried about our endeavors this weekend because we've been kind of training this guy, you know, to be crate trained and potty, and he did well while we were there, but when we came back, been a little bit out of sorts. But the kids did great. The kids did great. So there's 7 parts. Saiki, Kanami, Akane, Misa, and Miku has 3 parts. Okay. Yeah. It's who was it? Somebody, I forget right now. I'm trying to think so I don't have to look. But somebody already posted all of the links on there for me to follow, so I can follow them. So they're all there. But we'll go through them today. I don't know how long they all are. So we'll have about 2, maybe 3 hours if we get started in like 1:30 today to go through them. But we'll see how far we get. And then if not, I can continue later on at another time. But we should be able to get through most of them. Jesse, what's going on, my friend? How are you? Will you go in your bed, bud, if I put you on the floor? I prefer if you didn't, like, chew my stuff. How are you, Jesse? Good, man. Just updating everybody on the weekend, the 3-day weekend. But yeah, guys, what's it called? I recorded a video, kind of me venting, and I might post it, I might not. If I do post it, it'll probably be Friday, but, just kind of me in my mental space. And I'm just going to put this out there now. I'm kind of at a point where, at least recording reactions and stuff. I'm at a point right now where kind of like recording reactions is not necessarily a fun thing for me. Um, and it's more so because it's become super monotonous and super. It's like the only thing I'm doing, right? So I do want to mix stuff up. I think I might have mentioned this on my last stream, but essentially, like, I want to be able to create content I want to create. And what happened with the start of the channel when I went to music reactions was I had literally no content with that, right? So I could kind of go by the comments and let you guys drive it, right, to start off. But as that happened and as it grew, I got to a point. By the way, is the music too loud? I got to a point where I essentially lost control of what I put out there. And while I like pretty much every single band we've come upon outside of a couple, it's still me not doing necessarily everything that I want to do. So just putting out there that there's going to be some other stuff. Music reactions are going to still happen, right? You guys saw I just released my Ted Lasso episode 2 on the channel. So there's going to be more TV show and movie reactions. Patreon's going to pretty much get them as soon as I record them. And it could take a couple weeks. It could take a few months for them to release on YouTube. But it's obviously the condensed version. The Patreon is the watch along stuff. I'm not doing any more recordings right now. So if anybody posts anything in the in comments and stuff, I'm not going to record anything unless it's from Patreon, or obviously it's from one of our paid reaction streams, just because I'm so far behind you guys. I have I think it's like 40 now, 40 or 45 recordings that I need to go through and edit. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna Thursday streams right now. We're going through Demon Slayer because I'm kind of obsessed. But that Thursday stream is going to be our free day, and it's going to be a lot of gaming. I'm going to be doing a lot of gaming in the community within Discord and Patreon. So, Jesse has a Stardew Valley server that we might utilize if he lets us, and we'll all join and kind of have our own farm, or we might do Minecraft, or we might do whatever. Like, I want to have a gaming community day where we all kind of play together. Same thing with going back like I used to do and having a movie night with everybody, or movie day, I guess. So I want to keep the community intact with all these different things, all these different ideas that I have. And Jesse's been my sounding board. He knows all of the ideas that I have currently, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. Love music reactions. Love doing reactions, but at the end of the day, like, I've got to a point where a lot of the stuff that's being asked is I'm kind of just like, meh. Like, I want to do something else that's going to give me motivation. And right now, that's not just music reactions, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Obviously, the paid reaction streams are still going to happen. Tuesday is going to be the free themed days. Thursday will be whatever. Could be gaming, could be TV reactions, could be a movie watch along. It could be try not to laugh. So Thursday's kind of our catch-all day. And then, the weekends are my days off from streaming and content creation. So no worries, Jesse. I appreciate you. Just got to find one that works for you. Of course, Jesse. And that's kind of where I'm at too, where it's like, I got to find that happy medium where I'm happy and the community is happy. And look, I know that people are going to unsubscribe when I start doing gaming stuff and all that, and that's totally fine. I have a gaming channel where right now that's going to stay separate, but I might bridge that gap somehow and figure that out and see, like, hey, I posted a video on my gaming channel. I'll put this on my community post and see how many people go over there and actually watch it, right? I've had a few already go through and watch stuff. They have no idea. Like, I posted a couple gaming device videos on there, and people have no idea what that is. Come in and support. Beth specifically is one of them. But so we'll be doing that and see how that goes. But I want to bridge those gaps, man. I'm a gamer at heart. I'm a musician at heart. I want to be able to bridge those two gaps, and I want to have time to be able to, like, create my own music, man. I kind of fell off of that. I had a goal last year, by June last year, to release a EP, and I released one song, and that's it. I didn't do anything else. So I want to be able to do all of these things, but I need to have the time and the energy to do them. And I'm just oversaturated with music reactions. So that's where we're at right now. Patreon right now. There's a lot of requests, so I'm gonna go through those, record those, release those, and then anything left over that I think should be released from these reaction streams that you guys have been killing it with, I'll be putting those out. So, you know, I got a lot of Angelina Jordan. I got a lot of Sleep Token. I got a lot of Ren still to put release. So there's a lot of stuff left over that I still need to do. Hell, I have stuff from last year that I haven't released yet that I need to. Like, a lot of the warning stuff is left over. A lot of 1-1 pilots is left over from last year. Like, I just have not got around to recording them. So bear with me is basically what I'm trying to say. All right. So we're about 6 minutes away from when I want to get started. So any questions before we start? Pulse Kebab, you're kind of... Welcome back, Jesse. Pulse Kebab, you're kind of going to be running this essentially just because you're the one that requested, but I want to make sure that we get to all of the... Well, I want to try to make sure that we get through the documentaries in the right order. Whether we get through all of them or not is yet to be seen, but I want to make sure we get through them all in the right order. So I'm going to see if I can put this down. See if I can put him down in his bed and if he'll stay. If not, I'll just have to hold him until my wife gets here. So I've been doing more gaming streams than my regular stream. I'm probably going to dip in and out since I also want to react to Band-Maid. So Jesse, this is the documentaries. So you're not, again, you're probably not going to, you might get snippets of some songs, but from what I'm hearing, it's not going to ruin anything. So, but it's up to you, man. This is just the documentaries that we're gonna go through today. So it's up to you. If you think you're gonna be going through all those documentaries, then by all means. Otherwise, if you want to hang out and watch with me, this is essentially gonna be a hangout stream, man. Because we're gonna hang out, watch the documentaries. I'll have some input here and there, but we're kind of doing a watch along at this point. I mean, I'm not forcing you at gunpoint, bro. If you need to dip out, that's totally fine. You know? All right, let me see if I can put this dude down and we'll go from there. So hold on a second. Don't stare at my ass. Kind of sitting there, but I always say to take your time with the documentaries. It's quite a commitment, but the order is important. 100% Pulse Kebab. That's what I was saying earlier, is that I want to make sure we do them in order. And again, there we go. It might be a couple streams, to be honest with you. We might have to do this in a couple streams, but I think I want to get started at the very least, you know? So, all right, let me change screens here because I do want to get started. I saw the most interesting reel about songwriting today. Send it, man. Send it over, Jesse. So let me switch camera angles and then we'll get started. I'll show you I'll do a full screen of my belts that I got for fantasy football, and then we'll go from there. So give me 2 seconds, you guys. With the default host alert. Dude, like, it's crazy the stuff you learn just when you start streaming, for sure. Hey, look, it's Streamception right now. Oh, he's a sniper yet. See his ass.
Oh my god. Bro, is that your Eka Pekka? You got a summer camp in your drawers. Was that a fart? I think you shit yourself.
Hey. Quandale Dinglenut. Hey, I'm gonna name my third child Quandale Dinglenut. Because that's an awesome. Blast from the past, those videos. All right, so we're here. I wanted to show you guys this belt. So the name of our we were trying to figure out, because it's been like I think 10 years maybe. We were trying to figure out where the where the name came from, but the name of the fantasy football league is 12 Dick Band-Aid, so that's it. But this is the belt that they like. Everybody pitched in for this. Is pretty cool. So I have this until next season essentially, but it's sick, dude. Like, it looks super professional. I'm happy with it, man. I got it that this weekend. Super stoked about that. But really cool. So yeah, like the story behind the name for that, I think, is like, if I remember correctly, we were having the stupid conversation as us guys do, and my friend mentioned like, there's not, what is it? There's not skin colored dick band-aids. You know? It's true. So that's where that whole thing came from. And there's 12 people in the league, so it's 12 dick band-aids. That's where that came from. But yeah, I'm happy with that belt. All right, let me open up the thing for this. Let's see. I want to go to studio. Oops. Wait, why is this not up? There we go. We don't need this. You know what I really need? You know, I really need a new capture card. That's what I really need, to be honest with everybody. Okay, if you're connected, why the fuck aren't you working, bro? Well, because I'm an idiot. The one I have is solid. I kind of want to get the one that you like insert into your the one that you insert into your computer. I have the HD60 Plus, but it's being held together right now by tape. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of janky right now. Why are you not connecting to my keyboard? Bluetooth 1 fail. Okay. All right. Pairing. Move. Yep. But yeah, I need a new capture card. And I need a new, honestly, I need a new streaming computer. But my wife and I were talking about it. We'll just, right now, pretty much you see, and again, y'all don't need to pitch in for this, but you see the goal on the bottom is for that new PC. But honestly, we're going to save up at this point for next, or I guess this summer, but to get me a new one. Because at this point, it's required. If I was smarter, I would use TRS out to split monos and use the main dial on the T2I2. But you're speaking language that I don't understand at this point. Like, I could understand it, but I haven't. McFly, did I miss anything? We're going to get started in like 2 minutes here. I'm trying to get my audio situated. So, Polska Bob, I don't know if you can see. Damn it. God damn it. There we go. God damn it. That's the wrong one. Okay. So this is what I have. There's an order to watching them: Saiki, Kanami, Akane, Misa, and Miku 1, 2, 3. So these are the orders that I have. So we're just gonna go through this. This was Jeff B, who put this in the community chat. and that's how I'm gonna go through it. So that's what we're gonna do today. Duo monos out of the 2i2 to a headphone TRS and AT. So Jesse, we can talk about it offline, but I essentially have Voice Meter Banana. So it's essentially a software like audio interface. But yeah, Pulse Kebab, you'll be running the show. But this is the order I have. If anybody has any objections to this order, let me know, because I'm gonna start this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is what you said. This is the order that they mentioned. We can get started here and go through it. Again, this is a pretty chill stream. This is kind of a watch along stream. I don't necessarily know if we need to record this. But this is going to be one of those live streams where I'll just leave it up, right? All my other ones I turn off. They're up on my YouTube, but they're all private. So this one will be one that will stay up. But we can go ahead. Whoa, we can go ahead and watch this. And let's get started. That's the right order. Perfect. So we'll do that order. Sounds good to me. Let's turn off the music. Yeah, we'll be hanging out. I probably will be talking over it a lot, and I'm not going to necessarily stop it because there's a lot. But if I do think there's something important to talk about, then I'll stop it. But this is, again, we're watching along. It's like if you're in the room with me and we're sitting down, having a drink, watching these documentaries, right? So that's kind of what we're going for this. I know Jesse's been in one of these before. I think, Bridget, you've been in a couple of my watch alongs too, which I'll be doing on Twitch, by the way, on Thursday. I'll be doing a watch along. I'll be live on YouTube, but you're going to see it's like a vertical live, and I'm not going to show the content I'm watching. You're going to see my face. It's going to have a message about going over to Twitch to watch with me. But Thursdays is what we're doing, all right? So let's hang out. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's go ahead and let's get this going. Really fucking loud. Does it have... It does?
To Kofu, the capital city of Yamanashi Prefecture, where Saiki was born on February 8th. Known for its proximity to Mount Fuji and its grapes and wines, Yamanashi is mostly covered by forests. This is the beautiful landscape where Saiki spent her childhood with her mother and stepfather, as her parents are divorced. Her mother was born and raised in Osaka, and Saiki describes her as a person who doesn't hold anything back and could be very aggressive.
Whoopsies. So, my bad. My wife and I discussed this weekend, but before that, I have talked to her about, like, on my bucket list of places to go is one sec. Places to go is Japan. Like, on my bucket list to go visit Japan once the kids are all graduated and all old and we have our own alone time. We're gonna, seems like so far out, but I want to go to Japan. And she kind of like wasn't really into it. She kind of said she had no desire, but she's been seen a couple of her friends, talked to a couple of them, seen a bunch of them that are actually like moving out there, saying that they're super polite, like the culture there is amazing, the food there is incredible. And my wife had like kind of more of a desire to go, so I really want to go. And I've had people in the chat or in the Discord, specifically Steven or Mavdrop, whatever you want to call himself, who's gone plenty of times and really wants to move there. But I definitely do want to go and visit Japan for sure at some point.
Person who doesn't hold anything back.
My brother went for 3 weeks and had a blast. Nice, dude. Yeah, I really do want to go, man. It's on my bucket list to go. I think the culture there fits my lifestyle and my personality. Like, everybody's kind of friendly.
Very shy child who couldn't.
Everybody's kind of friendly, but also kind of recluse. Like, fits me perfectly. Yeah, man.
her mother's knees, but forced herself to go to school anyway. As her mother loved to drink with her friends, Saiki spent a lot of time in bars called izakaya, a snack bar in Japan where you can drink a lot and talk loud. Try to picture
See?
a shy young girl eating dinner in the middle of a group of her mother's friends while they drank alcohol. Saiki had a very funny and lively childhood. She spent a lot of time singing at the karaoke, as her mother kept asking her to sing various types of songs. Songs to cry to, like Nada So So by Rimi Natsukawa, or more poppy songs like Butterfly by Kouda Kumi.
I think it's funny that that's considered poppy when honestly that sounds more like funk jazz, at least musically. But yeah, man, I feel like when a lot of musicians, myself included, who like really loved music are ones that really weren't forced into it. They were just around it so much, right? Like I was around it a lot in terms of just, my grandpa on my mom's side was a musician and super into it, which made my mom into it. My dad was super into music. My stepdad was super into music. So far outside of, well, my grandpa owned a bar also, but I wasn't in the bar. But so far, like kind of some overlap here and reminiscent of my own life, if that makes sense. My parents were divorced and I had a stepdad, right? So like a lot of that stuff is very similar. Pretty cool, man.
At first, Saiki sang because she was asked to. But after being praised by her mother and her friends, Saiki kept singing again and again, learning more songs and listening to different types of music. Listening to Kouda Kumi led Saiki to discover Namie Amuro, a famous Japanese singer, dancer, and model who's been referred to as the queen of Japanese pop. Saiki became a huge fan of Namie Amuro and decided to take dancing lessons when she was around 8 or 9 to become just like her idol. She talked about the kind of Namie fan she was in the second episode of the radio show called Band-Maid Nippon, a 20-minute regular radio show that aired during the pandemic on Nippon Broadcasting System, a sister company of Band-Maid's label Pony Canyon.
私の人生を変えた一曲は安室奈美恵さんのファンキータウンです。
ああ、もうね、
はい、
サイちゃんといえばっていうぐらいこう
そうだね。
ね、
安室奈美恵さん
大好きだったね。
大好き。
もうだって
私の神様だと思っています。
すごかったんだからポ。
I think she's my goddess.
安室さんが引退を発表
Yeah,
した
dude.
時、
恥ずかしい。
もう忘れられないパあれは。バンドメイドのツアー直前のゲネ最終の
You guys can't-
リハーサルみたいなのをやってる時に、
when we were running through a kind of final rehearsal, a new news program or something
かなんかで確か流れたんですよね。で
reported that quote. And Sai-chan saw the news during a small break in the practice, I mean the rehearsal.
時間にそのニュースを見たサイちゃんは椅子から
And even though she was sitting on it properly,
崩れ落ちた。
she fell off a chair.
座ってたのにね。
座ってたのに
Even though I was sitting right, you were sitting, not
崩
standing.
れ落ちて
But you fell down
だから
and cried.
みんなでどうした
The rest of us were like, what happened?
めっちゃ嘘だ。
I cried like, that's impossipossible.
もう
She was almost in tears.
で
泣いた。
泣いてた
And I sobbed. She was sobbing. I'm sorry, I can't rehearse anymore today.
やったよ。
I did in the end. You did.
一旦もう
But you were like, I can't do it anymore today for a while.
できないですって
10分は休ませて。
Well, I took a break for 10 minutes or so. Right, we decided to have a break, a long break because of that.
ちょっと
For a while.
整理させてください。
Like, let me sort out my feelings.
もう本当に
You really fell down, Paul, right?
そうぐらい好き
Yeah, just like
で
that.
す。安室奈美
I love Nami Omuro-san just like that.
Right.
That's right. So I think these like kind of what do we want to call it? Look into what drives an artist and kind of their like who they fangirl and fanboy over is really interesting to me. I think those kind of questions are important to me to kind of know. Like I like questions. One of the reasons I like hot ones, for instance, is because Sean treats the people he's interviewing like people, not like celebrities, right? I feel like a lot of the interviews that I see lately have been kind of pandering to the celebrity and treating them like a celebrity, if that makes sense. I like interviewers who go about treating anybody like a person, right? And this just sounds like kind of just, you know, somebody who's into music talking, right? Instead of treating them like celebrities. And I love that. But I've always wanted to interview independent artists and talk about their process, who their influences are, who they fanboy and fangirl over, all that stuff, because that is interesting to me.
Saiki's mother often asked her to audition, but at that time, Saiki thought it would be impossible for her to pass an audition and actually become someone who can sing and dance like her idol, Namie Amuro.
Humble.
And then one special day, on her birthday, Saiki asked to go to Tokyo to take a look at life in the big city. It was during this trip to Tokyo that Saiki was scouted by a talent agency named Rising Production. But it was not just any talent agency. Rising Production also managed Namie Amuro. At first, Saiki worked as a model. You can see pictures.
That'd be wild to like be part of your idol's company, right? I couldn't even imagine, man. I feel like I would be nervous at all times.
Pictures from a photo shoot she did with Jimmy Ming Shum in November 2012. Then, she was asked about what she would like to do. Of course, Saiki brought up singing. So, she took singing lessons. The agency also asked her about acting lessons, and even though she wasn't really interested in acting, she agreed in order to have more opportunity in the future. When she was in high school, Saiki traveled between Yamanashi and Tokyo on the weekend for her singing lessons. She was on the right path to become a professional singer and dancer.
Yeah, this wasn't an interview. It was a weekly radio show that Miku and Saiki did during the pandemic. So it was just the two of them riffing. I'm a pretty big fan of, honestly, of podcasts. But I think it would be cool for your favorite bands to have their own podcast and just them shooting the shit, right? Like seeing their relationship. I don't know, man. I'm very interested in like people. I've always been interested in people, in the psyche of people, what motivates them, what demotivates them. As much as I give like psych major shit, I think that stuff really interests me. So I would listen to that, dude. If they're still out there, I do kind of want to go and listen to them at another point.
Through those singing lessons, Saiki learned a lot about how to sing properly, louder, and also how to move while singing. When you sing, it's important to express yourself with gestures, but Saiki was still very shy. She used to sing while standing still. But the years of dancing lessons did give Saiki a good sense of rhythm, and those singing lessons helped her to overcome her shyness. Saiki started to show signs of the strong, confident, and mesmerizing singer that we know of today.
Hey, Far From Heaven, welcome. How are you? Far From Heaven, we're chilling today. We're doing the Band-Maid documentaries from the channel Orenji. I don't know how to say it correctly because I'm an idiot, but that's what we're doing today. We're watching those, kind of doing a watch along today and talking about it. But Orenji has the radio shows on his YouTube with animation of them. They were the first. Nice. I'll have to go back and watch them at some point. I think it'll be really interesting to watch, to be honest, or listen to, I guess. Furnace was fixed, but not anymore. It already broke. I'd be so frustrated.
A lot happened in Saiki's life since her trip to Tokyo. After joining Rising Production, Saiki was scouted by Platinum Passport during one of her singing lessons. This is when she decided to move to Tokyo to focus on her career. Saiki appeared briefly in a commercial for Taisho Pharmaceutical. You can also see her dancing in a music video for the singer May J. Saiki was an actress in the B team of Go Jet Go Go Zero, a musical comedy where she played the role of Meg, the sister of the lead character. She was in the cast between June 26th and July 3rd, 2013. That's not all. Between August 13th and 19th, Saiki performed in a play called Night of the Blue Moon, where she had the role of a nurse.
I think we're finding too that there's a lot of overlap between musicians and acting, right? Like obviously Ariana Grande is probably one of the bigger ones that's kind of enforcing that. Right? She had her acting career first, then became a massive singer. We've seen a lot of singers go into acting, right? Well, I'm trying to think of one of those, but there's a bunch of them. Jennifer Lopez is one of them. So again, I think there's a lot of overlap there, and I think it's about getting out there and putting yourself out there and then getting known in one area is very easy. It's easier to then get known in the other area that you really want to do, right? So the song playing now is the first ever song, Be Okay. Another one I haven't heard. I'm about to go crazy. Like, what can you do, Far From Heaven, to like make sure that they come out and actually fix it this time? Because there's got to be a warranty on it, right? Or is it it's not a new one, they just fixed the old one? Like, I would be on the phone all day trying to get that shit fixed, especially if they already attempted to fix it.
Saiki has always been a fan of trains, which is pretty common in Japan. She likes to take photos and visit museums like the Kyoto Railway Museum, where she went in 2016. Saiki considers herself amongst the photographers when it comes to talk about train enthusiasts. There is also something else that's very present in Saiki's daily life, and it's the only other topic you can see on her X account: the Japanese baseball team, Hanshin Tigers. Saiki is a huge fan of this team.
Interesting.
She supported them for a long time. She reposts every victory, and sometimes she just posts about them. She even talked about the Hanshin Tigers on the radio with a show she hosted with Miku in 2021.
2025年にですね、阪神タイガースの2軍の本拠地が現在の鳴尾浜球場から小田南公園へと移転されます。知ってました？
いや、知らなかったです。
メイン球場。
Main ballpark has 3 stores. Wow, great. What with about 3,600 seats. The infield is covered with black soil. Oh, I can't read. I wish the Hanshin Tigers the best of luck. I see. Thank you very much for your wishes, Poe.
Follow Saiki on Instagram, you know that she loves taking photos, where she poses with...
I just realized I was muted. But I like people who are kind of nerd out to sports, because I do that, obviously. But I think like it's kind of lost. It's getting better now, but sports are kind of lost on females of the world, women of the world. But it's slowly becoming more popular with women, right? But I think it's cool to see women kind of nerd out to sports, man. I think that's an attractive quality. I think it's cool to see that. As a sports fan myself, it's a very male-dominated industry, right? A lot of male fans, but I think it's nice to see women kind of, you know, being sports nerds, for sure.
With various types of clothes, along with photos of her shoes and nails. Talking about shoes, you can find videos of Saiki showing a room full of sneakers.
Sorry, Far From Heaven. I wish I could like be there and help you, you know, and just figure it out. It's going to get down to negative 13 degrees. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, just, I don't know, run the cold water so it doesn't freeze, or run whatever water you have and make sure it doesn't freeze. How long until the next like appointment to get out there? I feel like if they fucked it up, they should be out there immediately. Fuck everybody else who's having issues. They should be out there immediately. But just my opinion. That's all.
In a series called Maid's Room, available for Omesu-sama members. Saiki is also one of the main models when it comes to feature Band-Maid clothes for the official website. On July,
but I appreciate you coming in for a little bit far from heaven. Hopefully I'll see you Thursday with my next stream, all right? Take care. Let me know how it goes in the Discord. If you need anything from me, let me know.
Of 4 members: Kanami on guitar, Akane on drums, Misa on bass, and Kabato Miku, the founder of the band, on vocals. Band-Maid performed 2 more times at Shibuya Milky Way on August 13th and at the Vunos in August 16th, before realizing that Miku's voice alone wouldn't be enough for her band.
Do you have any experience with plumbing? YouTube is your friend, and if you know anybody who is a plumber that you can call and ask, that might be helpful too. So take care of that. Let me know. I'm sorry you're going through that. I really am.
The management started to look for a lead vocalist within the agency. The profile of a young new talent who'd moved from Yamanashi came up. She had taken dancing lessons for a few years along with singing lessons from her previous and current agency. She'd also done some acting here and there, but she always wanted to become a professional singer. Her name was Saiki. Saiki was first contacted because her profile fit what the band was looking for. She was asked to come sing and listen to the songs planned for the band without being informed that she would have to perform in a special outfit. On Saiki's first audition, none of the members were there.
I think like that's a key. It's a key detail to leave out. You know, you're gonna have to wear this maid outfit.
In detail, but Saiki was really skeptical about the maid outfit.
What are your thoughts on the maid outfit? What is
She listened to
this?
the music written for the band, and even though she really liked it, Saiki was not really sure if she could sing these kinds of songs. But the management team told Saiki her voice was great and was a perfect fit in the band. As she wanted to sing more and was ready to participate in any audition that could offer her a job in this area, Saiki accepted the offer and officially joined Band-Maid.
I'm sorry, guys, but the bass lines in this band is fucking insane. Like, everybody's super talented, but the bass specifically in this band is wild.
Saiki still had to meet the other 4 members, but she didn't meet them all at once.
4人同時じゃなくて徐々に会っていく感じだったんですけど、最初は茜だったかな。彼女についてはとにかく明るい人という印象で、すごく明るくて素敵と思いましたね。なんで最初に茜と会ったかというと、私の最初の衣装を作ることになった時、当時はみんなと似たようなメイド服の衣装。
In case you guys get me, the reason why I met her first is that when I needed to make my first outfit, we all wore the same maid outfits then, and it seems they thought it would be good to make it based on her outfit, considering the overall
だったん
balance.
ですけど、彼女の衣装を元に作るのがバランス的にいいだろうということになったみたいで、お互い身長も
I had the same height and similar weight as her, so she was like, try this first, and I tried on her
一
outfit.
緒だし、体重も近かったので、一回これを着てみてみたいな感じで、まず茜の衣装を着てみたんです。 それで、
Then she was like, oh, if we just fix this part a little, you can go with it. And it was done
こ
soon.
うちょっと直せばいけるねみたいな感じになってすぐにできたんですよ。ただ私その時点
However, at that point, I didn't know it was a maid outfit.
分かってなかったんです。というかエプロンとか小物
I mean, without an apron and other accessories, it just looked like a black dress.
しかも袖がない。
And it had no sleeves. It didn't look like a typical cute outfit.
ただ
I just thought the flare part was rather wide.
ぐらいには思ってましたけど。そして後日
Later, my outfit came out with various accessories, and when I put them on, I realized, like, oh, it's a maid outfit.
それをつけてみたら、おメイド服やんと気づいて、そこで改めて小バト
Then I saw Kabato and Kanami's outfits and finally understood, like, oh, that's what the maid in BAND-MAID means.
ようやく理解したんです。それはどうあれ。
Anyway, my first impression of Akane was a cheerful sister who kindly explains everything to me. I met Misa next and I had a vague feeling that I would get along well with her. I thought she probably had a similar taste as mine. I met her for the first time at a studio rehearsal the day before our first serving as a 5-piece band. I greeted like, nice to meet you to all of them there. Then I think I talked with her during a break. I could instantly tell she must be shy because I felt the same vibe as mine. So we could hardly start a conversation. In Akane's case, she's very considerate, or rather very quick at sensing shyness. So she talked to me all the time. I wouldn't talk if I wasn't talked to, so she was like, Saiki, what do you think? I thought she was truly kind. And as for Misa, I thought she's very shy too. I know how she feels. When we met for the first time with Kanami, we only greeted like, good afternoon. So before we continue with this, I think it's interesting to note that all of them are shy, all of them are humble, right? None of them kind of essentially take the spotlight, for lack of a better term, right? Like even if you're talking about American bands, right? Like Van Halen, for instance, like David Lee Roth would take the spotlight, right? He would be this bombastic person, right? I feel like none of them are like that in the band. I noticed that when they're on stage, it's like nobody really wants to take more attention than anybody else, you know? And this kind of confirms it when she's saying everybody's shy. Literally everybody's shy, right? And that's why they all get along so well, is that everybody is shy. Then we talked to her recording, but it was like a studio tour for me. So I was like, oh, so that's how you record it or something. My first impression of her is that she had big eyes. After a while, I noticed she was very serious and a neat person. At some point, I heard her say, noted with appreciation, and I thought, no one around me has ever talked like that. Again, noted with appreciation, like going out of her way to say, I appreciate the feedback or I appreciate the notes, right? Again, don't have to do that. Showing graciousness, showing appreciation for any type of, what do you call it? Feedback. She was extremely polite and gave me an impression of being used to working. She felt like an adult, and I thought she must come from a good school. Hold on a second. Like... With Kabata, we met for the first time at the studio rehearsal, probably. I just don't remember exactly, though. In fact, I really just don't remember, and last year she was like, I saw you before that, and I thought it was scary. I thought she had auditioned me secretly. She told me she had come with the manager and to take a look at me. Well, I don't blame her. You have to check how they are dressed, at least. From my standpoint, my first encounter with her was at the studio the day before the serving. At that time, I thought, there came a tiny girl, and she's not the kind of person in my school either. At that point, I wondered, who the heck are we five? Why the heck do we five gather here? That was a question from the beginning. It remains a question. As for Kabuto, at first I thought she's quite a character. Like she's already got her own character. As for the other three too, I thought they had pretty strong or unique characters. But at the same time, I thought it was seen more so. So I recently asked them about that. Like, didn't you see me like that? They all admitted frankly. Kabuto was like, I seriously thought I wouldn't get along with you. Like, I seriously wondered what to do. Okay. I think it's important too, the way that the band was kind of introduced to each other, right? Like, I think it's fair to say that to meet for the first time before recording could be kind of nerve-wracking, anxiety-inducing, all that stuff. I've been part of those kind of bands before where like I was filling in essentially for like a year for a band member who was going through some stuff. And like it's very nerve-wracking to like come in and be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do for this song. Here's the sheet music, and here's what we're gonna do. Go for it. I feel like the music suffers when you don't have that human connection, right? Or that kind of like affection with the band, if that makes sense. So 100%, I think that's important, the way they introduced. And I think doing it one-on-one helps because you get to know everybody individually first, then have the band come together in a group, and then you get that group dynamic as well. So again, everything here has been really well done in the way that they kind of got this band together, introduced everybody, all that stuff. So really well done all the way around.
5 members are really unique and really different, but
My bad, I forgot to turn off the...
they all became very close friends over the years. Although, it was not that easy for Saiki. Saiki has a very shy personality, so it was hard for her to open up and talk to her new bandmates. From the beginning, Akane already knew Kanami and Misa, so there was a connection between those three. Miku, being very friendly and sociable, had no trouble fitting in with the new trio. But when Saiki joined Band-Maid, the other 4 had already performed live and spent time together. So for someone as timid as Saiki, it took a while to fit in. She gave her opinion when asked, but the communication was very limited during the first months. Saiki also had a lot to learn as a lead singer, as she had no experience when it came to concert setup or even singing on stage with a band. She didn't know how to wrap her mic cable or do a mic check, and even what a joint concert was. Of course, she went to a lot of concerts, but only for that one band she wanted to see before leaving the venue. Saiki also struggled to sing with all the noise of her bandmates' instruments on stage.
I'll be right back. 1 second. Sorry, my son woke up. I didn't know my wife was here. Most of the time, you don't. When you think of a lead singer, you think that they need to be in charge. They need to be kind of the leading, like, energetic force. But it sounds like she's very subdued, very humble. She understood that she didn't know enough or as much as the rest of the band members, right? She needed to learn. She understood that. I think that's really important.
As she didn't wear ear monitors when she started to sing with Band-Maid. Saiki performed her first concert with Band-Maid on August 22nd at Shibuya AX in Tokyo. Right after this concert, Saiki got rid of the apron that was attached to her outfit. It took about 6 months for Saiki to get used to being in a band and learn how to manage her setup for the concerts. This timing was perfect because on February 8th, 2014, on Saiki's birthday, Band-Maid performed their first one-man concert.
I want to mention something. I don't want Band-Maid fans to look at it as me attacking anybody or Saiki's skills, I guess. But like when a band's relatively new, right, and they're touring 19, the show, it's not necessarily about how perfect you're going to sound, whether it's vocals, guitar, any of that stuff. It's more so about letting the audience feel your energy and feel what you're about in terms of tone, in terms of just energy. Like how do you engage the crowd? Does the crowd feel like you're having fun? When you're starting out, I feel like that's most important. Obviously, the band doesn't sound like perfect here. Her voice does fluctuate, and she is flat or sharp for some of it, but relatively new here, right? This is the first like official show that they've done, and she's 19 here. Like I feel like leaving that in and understanding that bands start somewhere. Like not every band sounds amazing from the get-go, right? There's growing, there's learning, there's honing your craft. Like all of that stuff is part of it.
After the success of Thrill, Band-Maid played more concerts, and Saiki found herself singing more than she was prepared for. Even though she took singing lessons for a few years, Saiki's vocal technique was still very limited. And during her debut, she wasn't as cautious about how she sang.
Is that like validation of what I just said? No, look, you can, as a musician, it's easy for me to tell when somebody is good or not good, or even, not as good as you think, right? At the end of the day, as a musician, you need to understand where your skill set lies. That doesn't mean like somebody who's just intermediate can't succeed as a band member, right? Like, let's be real here. Lars is a great drummer in terms of like, I guess just like feeling the music, but he's not that great technically. Let's be 100% real. I'm talking about Lars from Metallica. There's a reason why the running joke is that he can't keep time, because he can't, right? But look how successful Metallica is in spite of that, right? So, and again, I'm not saying Saiki's like that. What I'm trying to say is that you can make stuff like that work, especially if you eventually get to a point where like you've gotten better. You worked on your craft, like I said before, right?
Around the time Band-Maid recorded Alone, Saiki was being helped by a vocal coach to improve her singing skills, but it was already too late. Between 2015 and 2017, her throat suffered to the point where her voice became half as powerful as it was when she joined BANDMAID. At one point, she couldn't even record an entire song the same day. She had to rest a few days between takes to ensure that she didn't lose her voice for good. Even forced to speak in whispers for a while and used her voice only for singing. Terrified by the idea of having to rely on surgery, she tried everything to avoid it, but finally realized that she would not be able to sing anymore if she waited any longer. In the
That has to be very terrifying to think, like, you know, this is basically the opportunity of a lifetime, and you're at the risk of losing it all because your body's just not holding up, especially at the age of 19, dude, is crazy. And I think it just goes to show, like, rock music, man. The dog will answer any questions that come up. 100%, I get that. To be in that situation, and, like, I think people don't realize, like, rock music takes a little bit more out of you in terms of whether you're playing or singing, right? There's that energy. You gotta, music's loud, right? So you have to, like, project more and use a lot more energy. And while like they said, she sang before this, did a lot of singing. It was mostly pop music, right? Not necessarily stuff that's loud and you have to project. So I think she went from, like, doing a little bit of pop singing to, like, and projecting. It was just too much for her voice at first, but that's scary, man. That's very scary. Let's go back a little bit because I want to hear what happens after this.
That she would not be able to sing anymore if she waited any longer. In the summer of 2017, she finally gathered her courage and went through with vocal cord polyp surgery. Saiki was completely without a voice for a week, and then she wasn't allowed to sing for a month right after the surgery. She wrote a tweet to reassure everyone who'd been following her. With the help of her vocal coach, who had experience with this kind of surgery and a lot of training, Saiki is now able to sing even better than before and has improved her technique while learning how to properly care for her voice. You can see Saiki taking care of her throat during MCs when she's drinking loquat syrup, or even after the show, where she's using a stainless steel ice bottle to keep her throat cool. Saiki's voice changed a lot over the years, always improving, becoming more powerful with a wider range.
So like, honestly, silver lining here, right? Like, okay, she had to have surgery. And I don't know exactly what kind of surgery, they didn't say, but I don't really think it matters. But she had to have surgery. Now she's able to sing better, right? But she also learned from that, like, I need to take care of my voice. Like you said, Pulse Kebab, this is my livelihood. So she's taking care of her voice during shows with the syrup, right? Actually, or honey, whatever they said. Actually, really, really good technique. And then, like, taking care of it after the fact. Like, the vocals are like a muscle in terms of how they work, right? Just like when you're working out, you need to do a warm up, and then you work out, and then you do a cool down. It's the same thing with your vocal cords. You have to do the same thing. And I know a lot of vocalists do that, but not all of them. And I think you'll find that the ones who do that tend to have their vocals last longer. The ones who don't tend to have a shorter life in terms of their vocal cords holding up. So I think it's important with everything that you do to make sure you do it correctly and take care of your voice or your fingers or your feet, whatever it is, right? Take care of whatever you're using to create your livelihood. I mean, that makes sense, Polska Bob. Like, to have the band kind of also be utilized in a way to protect her voice. Everybody needs a break. My bad, I accidentally clicked something. Go away. Yeah, I think that's important too, and I think also people don't realize that's why during a lot of performances for a lot of bands they have instrumentals to give the vocalist a break, right? And they'll have vocal breaks where it's just the vocalist. That's for the band members to rest and also to retune their guitars and retune the drums or whatever. Like, there's tactics through all of this that make sense, in my opinion, and that I think not a lot of people understand or know, right?
There are always more to do in a band than just play your instrument. There's writing songs, lyrics, and being involved in the whole process. Saiki wrote lyrics here and there along with Miku since the release of BANDMAID in 2016. But she's started to write more by herself, as she's the one who's credited for lyrics on Corellium.
Just for the record, a lot of these songs I have not heard, but that's okay because there's no way I'm going to remember all of them in their little snippets, right? This one I've heard before.
And Maji. Saiki actively participates in other activities around Band-Maid, like helping design clothes and giving ideas for the covers of Band-Maid CDs. At first, Miku was the spokesperson of the band, while Saiki used to stay in the background. Miku was the one who talked the most during media appearances and put on a show during MCs. But since the pandemic, Saiki took a step forward and became, with Miku, part of the front image of Band-Maid. They talked together during the Band-Maid Nippon radio show and all other radio appearances. Saiki has also become more active during MCs and started to talk from her heart with the fans. After a time, Saiki came to realize that of all the maids, she had the best view of the stage, as she was free to roam as she focused on her singing.
I was just going to say, like, as a singer, you kind of have to be, at some point, kind of get over that anxiety and that shyness at a certain point, right? Like, yeah, it's fine if the guitarist or whatever or another band member is kind of the speaker, but at the end of the day, like, the singer is in the front. They are in the front. They're the closest to the singer or the crowd. The singers are the ones who engage the crowd the most. So it's a little weird if the singers aren't the ones who are the speakers for the band, or at least one of them, right? Just an opinion though, like, there's going to be people who are we could debate that. But by my opinion, that's how I see it.
Saiki was the one who started to talk to the other members about moving around the stage, interacting more with the crowd, and making each concert even more special.
常に驚かせたいっていうのがあります。
I always want to surprise them. I think being surprised or thrilled is a real physiological response, and it'll be more memorable when it's accompanied by such a thing. So in short, I want us to remain in their memories. I don't want them to forget us. Like, once they see us, they will never forget us. That's certainly what I'm aiming for. And again, like, I feel like the JP also, this is a remake. Orange is redoing these, so is the Kanami one. New Akane is yet to be finished. But no worries, Polska Bob. And that's fine, man. Like, however we tell the story, as long as it's accurate. Like, I don't care who's telling it or how it's told, right? So that's totally fine. I think there's like multiple ways to go about being a band. There's the tool route, which is like literally about the music being intricate and making sure that whenever you perform, it sounds as close to the original content as possible, right? The other thing I feel is being all about making sure that the crowd, the fans, and all of that are entertained and that they feel like they're part of the band, right? We've talked about this with Hua Chen Yu, where he has literally let his fans, the Martians, write songs for him, or with him, I guess. Feel involved, right? There's this where she said she wants to make sure that it's the best experience that they've ever had. Like, that's engaging the audience, making sure that they like it, right? The best bands know how to kind of incorporate both songwriting, making that intricate enough, and also incorporating the audience into everything, right? Really cool.
Saiki changed a lot with Band-Maid, compared with the shy girl she was when she visited Tokyo for the first time. Scouted on that day by the same agency who managed her idol to become a model and being able to take singing lessons. And then scouted a second time during those lessons by another agency to develop more talents. Saiki performed in a few plays to end up joining an all-female rock band, playing songs far from her repertoire in an outfit that she never really liked. She had to learn everything from scratch to move towards her goal of becoming a professional musician. This shy young girl, who never thought that she could sing and dance for a living, became a confident, talented lead singer with an insane stage presence. Saiki changed so much that even those close to her, including herself, don't even recognize her when she's on stage. Saiki seized an opportunity and took the best of it to evolve into a new version of herself. Surrounded by the best group of friends, she managed to rise to a point where she never thought she could reach. But this ascent is far from over. Saiki and her bandmates have the energy to climb over any mountain in their way, no matter how high. In the end, and against all odds, Saiki is the perfect fit for Band-Maid, the last piece of this miraculous puzzle whose voice resonates across the world.
I think it's important to mention, like, she sees her opportunity, like he said, but also, like, there's a negative connotation to like the shut up and play or shut up and do whatever you're, like, especially in the NBA. There's been a lot of people that's like, keep. I don't want to get into it, but for instance, in basketball in the NBA out here in the States, it's like shut up and play. Like, don't talk about current events or politics, or whatever, and just play. The other side of that, though, that's a negative connotation. The other side of that is like, just shut up and focus on your craft, not having the negative connotation in terms of like, let's let all of the other stuff that doesn't necessarily matter out of our head and just focus on the task at hand, which is, for her, was becoming a better singer, becoming a cohesive part of this band, becoming the lead singer, right? But also like finding herself within the band, right? I mentioned before, like, anybody who does any type of performance art, like what you see on stage is either a different part of them or only part of them, right? Like, how I am with you guys is not how I am at home. It's not how I am with my friends. It's not how I am at work. Like, this is a side of me that is part of this streaming sphere or this content creation sphere, right? Yes, I am this person, but it's not the only side of me, or it's not the like normal side of me, right? This is a whether it's a personality that I don't want to say like that I'm putting on, because it's not fake. Like, this is me, but it's only a part of me. And that's the same thing with her, trying to find herself in that regard. But her main focus was making sure that she fit the band and led them to success, or helped lead them to success. And I think she did it masterfully, man. 100% great way. Saiki maid outfit is geared more towards Spanish maid, she said. The fact that she doesn't like the outfit and still does it is pretty wild, but you know, I know she loves the band and the people in the band, so she kind of like deals with it, right? I have not heard that one yet, but I would really like to see the kind of intimate vocal singing from her with just the acoustic guitar.
I'm so glad to see you again. この時が続くように暗い日々さえ with you 無意味なものはないよ You shoot me down last night I feel my heart living with you laugh you laugh.
Nice. Yeah, man, I think it's really cool. Like, I think more bands, I know the band specifically didn't do it, but I think more bands should definitely think about doing kind of the breakdown of each band member, and so we can get to know them a little bit more. I think that separation of people and band members, like separating the band members from them as people, is fine, like the privacy wise. But I also think that fans want to be able to like get to know them a little bit, right? I think it's important to have stuff like this, if that makes sense. And then Fixer One said they like the outfits now. They call it their battle armor, so they feel naked on stage without their outfit. I mean, that makes sense to me, 100%. I understand that. I just feel like it's funny that at first, I just feel like it's been one of those things where like, or it can be one of those things where like, you're like, I'll deal with that later, and sometimes you don't. Like, it never goes away. I'm glad that they like it now, though. How long is this next one? Let's see. Also 30 minutes. So we're gonna try and get through this, and then we have only gonna do 2 today. That's fucking wild. Let's get through this one and see how much time we have left, and then maybe we can get through one more. But this is the Kanami one. Let's go ahead. Like I said, Saki new outfit. Her dress is too long. Saki has legs for days. Nice. Saki has legs for days. Yeah, man. What I like too is like, yeah, they're band outfits or man-made outfits, but like they're not overly sexualized either, right? I think that's important. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into this one. Okay, sorry, this is Kanami's story.
Welcome to Kanagawa Prefecture in the Tokyo area, a mixture of heavily urbanized areas, farmlands, and mountains, punctuated by the tourist destinations of Kamakura, Enoshima, and Hakone. Its capital, Yokohama, is the second biggest city in Japan and a port city, well known all over the world. Kanami was born in this prefecture near Yokohama on September 28th. Being the youngest child of her family with an older brother and sister. As both of her siblings were already learning piano, Kanami's mother asked her to learn piano as well, but she also liked to borrow and play with her brother's airsoft gun. Her parents wanted Kanami to try various activities like ballet, calligraphy, and English, to name a few. Over the years, Kanami continued to learn piano as she has a natural talent for it and really loves playing. A passion that she shared multiple times on social media.
I feel like listening to this is kind of, you can kind of hear like the influence of their music a little bit, especially on their like pre-chorus or breakdowns.
Kanami confessed that from her childhood to her junior high school years, she only listened to classical music and was very influenced by Chopin. Kanami plays piano for the introduction of the song Start Over. She also performed the introduction of
I like that intro. That was a sick intro right there.
She also performed the introduction of Daydreaming on piano live multiple times. In her interviews, Kanami describes herself as tenin in Japanese, which is translated as natural funny man. Tenin literally means nature or natural. The word has been shortened from tenin boke. In Japan, there is a traditional comedy act known as manzai, where the humor comes from the interaction between a straight man and a funny man, not unlike the double act comedy in the West with Laurel and Hardy, for example, or Abbott and Costello. The funny man being the comic character as opposed to the straight man in this comedy duo.
メンバークイズ出題してくれるのは誰だっぽ？あいよみーちゃん。またからみ。どうぞ。じゃあみーちゃんクイズ教えてっぽ。はい。私の野望についてです。一つがさいちゃんと結婚すること、そしてもう一つは何でしょうか？待って、さらっと野望がね、さいちゃんと結婚することってさらっと言ったっぽね。さあ。ミンチョのマイブームは何ですかぽ？はい、ミンチョのマイブームは、ミサしか見れないインスタのアカウントをやってるんですけど、自分がミサ限定なの。ミサしか見れないから、フォロワーもミサしかいない。そのアカウントなんで？で、それでご飯を作ったら、そこに載せて、で。偉いって書いたりしたらミサが偉いねってコメント LINE でやれ
I think that's a hilarious like concept, right? To like only have an Instagram account that like only one person can see. Honestly, how it should be, man. Like instead of having like a Google Drive to share everything, just put it out there on a social media. That no, use Google Drive is more secure, you know. But yay, 25 degree tomorrow, heat wave. 25 is, I'm assuming that's Celsius.
こうやってね、ご飯作ったら並んでいくじゃん。でそれでちゃんと手料理を作るっていうモチベーションを上げるためにやっております。素敵なマイブームだね。ありがとう。なんでミサ一人なんだぽ？ミサが先生なの？ミサはね、偉いねって褒めてくれる。褒めてくれるからミサを選ぶ。なるほどね。絶対ミサちゃんだったらいいねってしてくれるからってこと？はい。はい。でそれをさいちゃんには見せないの？見てくれる？あ、じゃあやっぱミサだけど。じゃあミサちゃんこれから。
So you can kind of tell still that like Saiki has social anxiety or something. Like I know she's shy, but that stems from something, right? And I'm just assuming here. They obviously said that she's shy, but she's shy. But you can tell just by her mannerisms how she looks like she's uncomfortable in social settings, right? She's got her hands on her knees, right? She's got her hands on her knees. She's like rubbing her knees, right? She's trying to soothe herself. So definitely a parent. Even being called on, she doesn't want to. I don't want to say she doesn't want to speak, but she feels uncomfortable speaking at all, right? So I see that. They all did a head take when she said she wants to marry Saiki. Yeah. I think that's funny. All right, let's keep going.
In Kanami's case, her funny talk is not deliberate, but natural. It's like that friend you have who is smart, but naturally strange in a funny way, if that makes sense.
ありがとうございました。 面接じゃないんですよ本当に
Saiki and Miku talked about Kanami during an episode of the radio show Band-Maid Nippon.
まずはじゃあギターのかなみちゃん。
はい。
かなみちゃんもねちょっと
何
とても不思議な感じなんですよ。なんだろう、小鳩が多分一番バンドメイドでやばいって、
思われ
てるんですけど、かなみちゃんもなかなかだと小鳩を思うぽ
それは同感です、
ね、同感でしょぽ。
なんかね、かなみちゃんはあれなんだよね、二面性があるっていう
そうだぽね、
言い方していいの？
うん、なんか普段は本当にふわふわしてて、すごくなんだろう、ほんわかしたね、お嬢様みたいな、
お姫様みたい。
あ、そうだっぱね、
おとぎの国のお姫様みたいな、
眠ってそう、
あ、そう、眠り姫っぽい、
なんか
おしとやかなお姫様って感じなんですけど、
なんか小鳥たちとかと遊んでそうなイメージだもん、森の中で。
There was also
Essentially, right? It sounded like she's just kind of, I wouldn't say innocent because innocent means like almost like sheltered. I don't think she's sheltered, but I think she's just very, very ultra polite, very, very like empathetic. So far, that's what it sounds like. Not about being like in your face about anything, very subdued. Like, again, humble, right? Maybe eccentric, which is totally fine as well.
a moment during the US tour in 2022 where Kanami introduced herself for the second time when the crowd was calling her name. In senior high school, Kanami joined a popular music club as a keyboardist, but started to learn guitar a few months later after watching a senior classmate play. Kanami wanted to play guitar to look cool in the eyes of the other girls. And it worked.
ギターを弾いてるかなみ先輩ってかっこいいよねって言ってもらえるようになって。
I heard them say, "Isn't Kanami so cool when she's playing the guitar?" That felt good, so I kept playing the guitar. Oh, you guys can see on the bottom. Never mind.
Of Kanami's journey as a guitarist. She started to learn the basics by herself without any knowledge or even a band to practice with. At one point, a third-year senior who taught her guitar asked Kanami to join his band composed of classmates. The members gave Kanami songs to learn from bands like Kiss, Metallica, and Deep Purple. But the first song she had to learn was However by Glay. As she was covering more.
That's what I'm saying, Polska Bob, like semi-innocent. I don't like saying innocent though, because it has like a negative connotation, but that's essentially what it is. Like, she's very innocent, right? It sounds like she was very like focused on music and all of that when she was younger, so she didn't like get out with friends and do all that stuff. So again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, man. Like, I think we think like the dirty jokes and stuff are like super funny and all that jazz, but like there's something to be said about somebody who doesn't have their mind kind of warped by all of that vile stuff, you know? So just my opinion, but yeah, that's cool.
And more songs from Western hard rock bands. Kanami had so much fun that she decided to create her own one-person band, filling all the roles herself. Kanami was not really into the idea of joining as a band, as it's difficult to find one where all the members have the same level of motivation and the same ambitions. This is why Kanami started to learn programming and write her own songs so she wouldn't have to rely on a band. Kanami wanted to enroll in a university of music, but she finally followed her parents' wishes and went to a regular university, where she studied economics and management to learn how to promote herself as a professional musician. Even though she was still a student, Kanami worked hard to polish her skills and find her way through the music industry. She built a soundproof room and took singing lessons, even though she didn't really like to sing. Kanami also posted a lot of covers on YouTube and Nico Nico, until one day, someone finally contacted her. Kanami's hard work paid off as she was contacted to join a female rock band.
ナミッチを最初に見つけて、ね、で見つけてもらって声かけてもらって、どこで見つけるの？ネットで動画をやっぱ弾いてみたみたいな上げてて、そこからで私が
So Miku's kind of the mastermind of all this. I want to watch hers, but I forget where hers comes in, to be honest. I'd have to look, but very interested to watch her story. But let's continue.
もともとはシンガーソングライターを弾き語りでこう歌いますみたいなやってたんですけど、バンドじゃなくて。
She met with the management who explained the concept and played songs made for the band. For the maid outfits, Kanami had already performed in one during a school culture festival, so it was not a problem for her as she really liked the concept. As for the songs, she found that they were cool, so she immediately said yes. Plus, she always wanted to be a lead guitarist and work with a female lead singer without having to sing. From this moment, Kanami was the first member to join BAND-MAID.
I also want to mention, like, I feel like guitar a lot of times ends up being the final instrument, where piano and bass and stuff end up being a gateway instrument a lot of the time. And conversely, though, I think a lot of people who can play bass or piano can sometimes like dabble in guitar and do fairly well at it, right? My point here is that I think a guitar is probably one of the more difficult things to learn, in my opinion, outside of maybe the drums. But it's always seems that if somebody starts off at another instrument, that they tend to do really, really well at the guitar, right? So I've noticed that both in my like experience in music and playing with others and all of that stuff, but also like when I hear documentaries and stuff, it's always like they started off on one instrument and then they ended up at guitar, right? They're really, really interesting. Band-Maid is her brainchild. Hers is last in the series as it is a 3-parter. Miku, that is. I got you, Fix One. Yep. That makes sense, man. Like, I'm excited. We'll probably do a full stream on her because that's very interesting.
At the beginning, the songs performed by Band-Maid were sent by external songwriters and selected by the members. After listening to the A-side of Band-Maid's first single called Ai to Jonetsu no Matadoru, we can imagine that Kanami mentioned her love for Santana, a famous Mexican guitarist, singer, and songwriter. She found Santana thanks to her father's vinyl collection.
He said singer. Santana ever sang in any of his songs? I don't think so. I gotta fact check that one.
As he listened mostly to rock from the 70s and the 80s. Kanami was still a novice in songwriting, but she continued to submit her songs anyway. Although it was really hard for her to keep writing all those songs that were never approved. Thankfully, Kanami had the support of Saiki, who encouraged her to continue to write more and more. While performing the song,
I think this is something, hell, even I could kind of learn from, right? Is I think a lot of people give up very quickly after, like, you know, I've written 3 songs, or, you know, I've applied for 3 jobs, or I've drawn 3 art pieces, whatever it might be. Like, they just give up at that point. What's the, like, yeah, it's a line from a comedy skit, but like 1,000 no's and 1 yes is still a yes, right? Like, all of your failures are going to lead to a success, right? It's as long as you learn from those failures, what works, what doesn't work, and you hone your craft, right? You're gonna get to that point. Like, even music or songwriting, if you think of songwriting, if you've ever been part of songwriting, like, the first, very seldom is it the first thing that you write end up out there, right? We've heard things like Stairway to Heaven was written in like 12 minutes or whatever, some shit like that. Like, there's always going to be an outlier, but for the most part, every song, like, you start somewhere and then you do revisions, right? Revision 1, revision 15, revision 20. And then even as you're recording, you're adding stuff or removing things or changing things. And even as you're mixing, you're adding, removing, changing things, right? So you have to think of sorry, I was Black Magic Woman. He doesn't sing, man. I don't forget. I don't remember who the singer was, but I'd have to look. But even in the video you saw, when that part came, it was the keyboardist that was singing. So I don't think he sings, dude. I mean, I can check real quick, but I'm pretty sure. Damn it. I don't know where we were now. We were like 10 minutes in. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, dude. Does Santana sing any of his songs? Let's see. He sings backup, but like, I'm talking lead singing. Does Santana sing lead in any of his songs? Santana sings lead guitar? No. I remember the band sing lead vocals, including, yeah, so he does not sing. He doesn't have lead vocals. He does backup vocals, but that's not what we're talking about here. But anyways, let's keep going.
taken dancing lessons for a few years along with singing lessons from her previous and current agency. She'd also done some acting here and there, but she always wanted to become a professional singer. Her name was Saiki. Saiki was first contacted because her profile fit what the band was looking for. She was asked to come sing and listen to the songs playing in songwriting, but she continued to submit her songs anyway. Although
my bad,
it was really hard for her to keep writing all those songs that were never approved. Thankfully, Kanami had the support of Saiki, who encouraged her to continue to write more and more. While performing the songs provided by the songwriters, Kanami kept on learning and improving until her determination was finally rewarded when, 2 years after their formation, the first ever song written and arranged by Band-Maid was released.
I believe this is the first one that I heard. You guys can correct me, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Bob. Hit live on the stream. You're a little behind, but yeah, I realized like a minute into that. My bad.
Kanami is the kind of person who has to compose all the time. She loves to create new songs and takes requests from the other members when they have an idea. It's even easier for Kanami this way as she doesn't have to start from scratch. When she does, Kanami uses a riff or a melody, writes around it, and sends each part to each member, starting with Misa. There are not a lot of directions for Misa to follow except when Kanami wants her to slap or stand out during a specific part of the song. Misa, being a very fast worker, gets her response to Kanami quickly, which means then Kanami can start programming the drums for Akane. At first, Kanami received a lot of feedback from Akane about the drums being impossible or requiring 5 arms, but with time, she improved her programming and
Dude, I've heard, like, I feel like it's a common thing, man, where especially when the digital age right now, where like there's a couple bands I know where the guitarist like writes all the parts for the most part, but the insanity that they do for programming the drums is like, there's no way I can play this, man. You got to fix it. But yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like, at least from a writing perspective, that Kanami is kind of the mastermind, right? Which is really cool.
Wrote difficult but playable drums with the help of Akane. Let's take Black Hole, for example.
でもあそこは最初もっと難しかったんです。これは無理って言われて代わりに出してもらった別パターンを採用してます。辛口とか地獄とか名付けられたパターンも送ってもらったんですけど、確か地獄っていうパターンになったんだと思います。
Kanami wanted Black Hole to be the fastest song possible, but also chaotic, which makes it even harder for Akane. With Akane's drums locked in, Kanami can add the guitars and work.
Hold on, because this is actually going to tilt me. We had like the perfect subtitles, and now like kind of like that. I guess we'll just keep it the way it
With
is.
Saiki on the lead vocals. The first demo of a song is actually recorded on a piano by Kanami with her voice as the demo for the vocals, so the song might change completely when Saiki's voice is added. A part of this process was featured in the Band-Maid US Tour 2022 documentary, where we can see Kanami presenting her idea for Memorable to Saiki.
La 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 la
For backing vocals, Kanami proposes some of them, Miku and Saiki also propose some others, and finally, their vocal director sometimes gives advice during the recording sessions. The rhythm guitar is something Kanami adds at the end of her writing process. When Miku has to sing, her part is, of course, simplified, but Kanami doesn't think much about this when composing. Talking about Miku, Kanami's way of writing is totally different when she writes a song for Miku, like Sayonakadori. Even though Kanami adopts her writing to Miku's voice, she wants Miku to grow as a singer, so she is always trying to challenge her.
この最後は変えてほしいって小鳩に言われたので、ちょっと成長の意味も込めて変えたら、最初高くて出るかわかんないって言われちゃって、頑張れって。
I think it's really interesting, dude. Like, it sounds like, I mean, it's kind of mental manipulation, to be frank with you, but at the end of the day, like, she's just trying to get the best out of everybody. But not only is she like masterminding the writing process, she's also kind of like, I guess, like the manager of the band in terms of like managing their skill, managing their performance and all of that. Like, she's there, she's the one kind of keeping everything steady, which is a big responsibility. She kind of took it on her own. That's crazy.
Kanami has had a lot of different guitars over the years. She has used a Flying V, a Les Paul, and Strat-style guitars. Her first collaboration was with a Dictone, when Kanami was officially endorsed by the brand on May 21st, 2016. Kanami even had her own signature model, the Dictone Modern Series 2.8 Signature, in two colors, red and green. But there is one brand that we are used
Actually
to seeing
sick
Kanami
looking
with for a
guitars.
few years now. Paul Reed Smith guitars, or PRS.
Real talk, I've been looking into getting a PRS guitar, but they're pretty expensive, so probably not for a long time.
At the beginning of 2017, Kanami switched from a Dictone to PRS, which was not leaving her previous endorser in good terms with Band-Maid's management, who was accused of forcing Kanami to switch to PRS guitars. For the release of their first major album called Just Bring It, Band-Maid recorded the music video of Don't You Tell Me, where we can see Kanami playing with a brand new PRS 408 Fire Red Burst, borrowed from a guitarist amongst Band-Maid staff. One thing for sure, Kanami fell in love with PRS guitars.
もうファーストタッチで、うわ弾きやすい、手に吸い付くってなって、で音的にも特徴的なサウンドじゃないですか。私は特徴が欲しかったんですよね、バンドメイドに。ただ PRS ってしっかり弾かないとちゃんと鳴らないギターなので、今でも結構苦戦してるところがあるんですけど、でもこの PRS を
Brutal honesty, and I love it, man. Like, to come out in basically a brand that has endorsed you, and to basically be like, yeah, they don't sound that great unless you know how to play them. Like, brave.
使いこなせるようになったら、きっとどのギターでも使いこなせると思ったので PRS にしました。これだと
One second. Hello? I don't know what I just did, but
となりました。直感だったと思います。音も弾き心地もこれがいい。でもしっかり弾かないと音が鳴らないみたいな。難しいけど、でもこれっていう感じでした。
I'm curious what that means, like hard to play. I feel like the SGs in particular have like the action is too high for me, so I feel like my wrist is like bent when I play those, and I don't like that. So I'm curious, like specifically, what makes it hard to play. I'm just curious. She's the first Japanese person to get a signature PRS. Paul Reed Smith handed it to her. That's crazy to be handed to like the owner of the company. That's wild.
Mincho comes from her username from the time she posted videos online, which was Kana Mincho. Incho is a suffix to give a cute feel to a name that usually ended with a vowel I. This is how Kanami chose the nickname Kana Mincho, then shortened into Mincho. It has been mentioned multiple times by the members that Kanami has a switch when she is playing guitar.
ライブお給仕の時にギターを持ってこうお給仕に臨むと、なんだかこう人格が変わるというか、少しオラオラ系になるみたいで、
急に変わって、すごいこうやってきます。マ
ジで？
この金見がギター持ってこうやってやってきますから。
急に小鳩のマイク奪ってちょっと話したりとかする時とかもあって。小鳩メンバーたちもすごいびっくりしちゃうみたいな時があります。
身内もびっくりするぐらいなんだ。
でも打ち合わせとか全くなしで、い
つ出てくるかもわからない。その時はなんかトランス状態みたいな感じっぽくて、私何やってたっていうのがあって、今日はねシンバルをかかと落とししてたみたいな。
This moment can be seen when the camera is on Kanami right after a short pose. Kanami enters in Mincho.
Somebody mentioned this in the comments just recently. I never noticed this, but Kanami doesn't involuntary late. Doesn't involuntary late kick when she's in Mincho mode. Somebody called it her donkey kick. Oh, it does an involuntary kick. That's her just getting in the moment and feeling the music, you know? Again, I feel like more people need to do that instead of trying to worry about being technical. Like, let emotion take you over a little bit.
Mode to focus on her music. Sometimes, Mincho becomes out of control, and it looks like this.
That's the kick you were talking about right there?
ミンチョはじゃあ最初にサイちゃんに会った時の印象ミンチョは
記憶あるとこからでいいよ。
記憶あるところから
記憶ないかもしれないからと
記憶があるところだとぶっちゃけるとあーちゃんが最初にサイちゃんサイちゃんのことを先にあーちゃんが会ってたから多分かなみは嫌いなタイプの人だと思うって言われてた。
あったね。
結構それ言ってたね最初。
そうだからすごいビクビクしながら会ってあこの人かみたいな。でも話したらあれ普通に話せるってなってどっちだってなって。
Since Kanami met with Saiki, she can't stop showing how much she loves and admires her. It started with the first music video of Don't You Tell Me, where the personality of each member is highlighted for the first time. Since then, she's always showing her support to Saiki during live performances.
私はすごくボーカルの最近のことが大好きなので、はい一緒にアコースティックでこうできて。いいんだよそんなこと言わなくて。
It's so cute.
See, she's getting her out of her shell. She's allowing her to smile on stage, kind of feel a little more relaxed. I see what you're doing. You're smart. You're smart, Kanami. You're smart.
いいでしょう。主敵。はい。主敵です。え？主敵です。さいちゃんとっても主敵です。ありがとう。
It's been something used by the members for years during MCs. Sometimes, those moments are very sweet. And sometimes, it gives us a memorable moment.
Kanami is Japanese hentai.
What?
Saiki also likes.
Did she say what I think she said?
Kanami is Japanese hentai.
She straight up said Kanami is Japanese hentai. Ain't no way she said that.
Saiki also likes to play this card with Kanami during songs for some funny stage interactions. One thing for sure, with these two on stage, you can expect a lot of emotions coming through their performance as they adore those special moments with just the two of them.
Check me out as I do. I hope in you. 月影に隠れた手の指見た明けない夜なんてあげあくりありえないことと分かってても浮かぶ痛み守ったどんなに埋めようとしても脱ぎ場の輪が見えないずっとそばにいるから曖昧な僕たちはきっと形にとらわれてばかりで言葉を探し迷うよりも今はただ抱きしめてもう一度だけ願うほどなんてこんなどうにも
Music has been a part of Kanami's life since her childhood, and even if her passion for the guitar
So like I said, I want to see a couple of those songs coming up pretty soon because those kind of intimate setting ones are another way to judge like the skill set, right? But also like I want to see the emotion too, you know?
started late, Kanami worked hard to master the instrument, songwriting, and song production. Since that moment, every decision she made helped shape the passionate guitarist that we know today. Always impressive when she's on stage with her ability to convey emotions through her guitar, Kanami has moved a lot of fans over the years. From a try-it-all to a do-it-all, Kanami always had the ambitions to break through the music industry. And by joining Band-Maid, she was able to improve her play, learn from professional songwriters, and pursue her dream. Thanks to her Band-Maid support, Kanami continued to write song after song until they were approved by the management. And since 2016, she is the genius who writes Band-Maid's music. Improving and evolving song after song, exploring new territories, challenging her bandmates and herself by making songs that sound good instead of being just easy to play.
でもとにかく音楽には一生関わってい
Sorry, I was muted. It's funny because I was just going to stop it and say that, but it's apparent that Band-Maid writes music, and I've said this before, that isn't just there to sound good and easy to play. It's there to create kind of an art form, right? And you guys have said, I've only listened to a few songs from Band-Maid, but you guys have said like there's a lot of their songs that can be different genres from each other, right? And there's a lot of songs that have different time signature changes and chord progression changes and you know and key changes and all this stuff. So it keeps it interesting. They said like genius writing. I think genius in terms of writing music can be kind of thought of in different ways. And I do got to go pretty quickly here, but it can be thought of in different ways, right? Like sometimes the genius is not about being extremely eccentric and extremely like hard to play or hard to listen to, but more so like how well you are at creating something that sounds simple out of something that is kind of difficult to play, right? That is where the genius comes in. And I think we're very much so in their case, right? Like there might be a lot of time signature changes and all that stuff like I mentioned, but it sounds good and it sounds like it's simpler than it actually is. That's a gift, 100% for sure.
いたいなっていうメンバーたちなんですよ、一人一人が。だからそれこそこれから10年後にどうなっているかは正直わからないし、5年後だって見当もつかないんですけど、音楽では絶対つながっていたいって思うメンバーたちですね。もうこのバンド、このメンバーが大好きすぎて、このメンバーと離れるのが絶対嫌だって思うんです。この先も少し立ち止まるような時が来るかもしれないですけど、このメンバーたちに囲まれているからこそ自分は続けられているというか、続けることを目的に続けてきたわけじゃなくて、本当に気づいたら続けられていたという感じで入れているのは今のメンバーだからなんだなって思います。
Kanami's path has never been an easy one, but she managed to keep moving forward, destroying every obstacle in her way. Even when she is tired to the point of where she can't barely stand, Kanami will always give everything on stage with the biggest smile.
I want to know that story.
She's a mixture of passion, energy, and joy, who is and always will be full of surprises. Kanami, the genius composer.
Saw some hybrid picking in there. See, man, I see hearing her story, I think it's like really cool to kind of hear like the genius behind the band and their songs, right? Really, really cool to hear that. I think the fact that she's very, like we mentioned before, or I mentioned before, like innocent, for lack of a better term, makes it even better. But I think she's like that because she spent so much time on her craft, writing, playing, all that stuff. Like she literally was so obsessed with it, she didn't do anything else. And that's why she's like that, right? I think that is a big thing. I think that is a really cool thing, right? They play it at a mall to ride the roller coaster. That's hilarious, man. Some of these, like, I want more. Like, I want to know more about them. Like, Kanami's story is very interesting. And that thing about, like, her being unable to stand, I want to know what happened there. But really interesting. Yeah, guys, I wanted to go longer, but shit's crazy right now. So we'll continue this probably maybe next week. We'll do another, like, a Band-Maid part 2 and try to finish them all. Because we did, what? We only did 2. That means it's going to be... We'll try to get through more of them next time, I promise. But in any event, this was fun. I'm really liking these, and I appreciate you, Polska Bob, for being patient on me getting to these. I think this is the best way to do it, honestly. Like, keep it as a live stream and just keep, put up the VOD after the fact. And go from there, man. But I appreciate that, Polska Bob, for having me watch these. This is actually very interesting. It's more interesting than I expected it to be honest. And the documentaries are more well done than I expected them to be. They're very organized. They have a flow to them. There's a story being told. It's just not random facts, right? So very, very interesting. I appreciate that. So we'll continue this probably next week, maybe next Tuesday. And but I'll let you guys know. I appreciate you guys for hanging out, for love and support. Please do remember that good vibes are contagious. I'll see y'all later.